Hi everybody, welcome to Oils and Angels. I am Stephanie Green. I am a hypnotherapist, an aromatherapist, and an intuitive. And what I do here on the Oils and Angels channel is that I help all of you get spiritual insights so you can improve your regular everyday life, so you can move on through issues that you've been wanting to move on through. And I find that it's really helpful to ground that spiritual knowledge into the regular everyday world. And I do this in two ways. One is I use essential oils, and I'll come back to a little bit more detail on that. And the other thing is we work in some self-hypnosis with it as well. So as opposed to just getting a card reading or an intuitive reading, we're actually going to build you a daily practice that you can use between now and next week so you can really get some transformation going on in your life. Okay, so first of all, like I said, I post these videos every week, but if you came across this on a different week or whatever period of time, that's absolutely perfect. That means that it is meant for you right now. So in that sense, this recording, this video is actually timeless. All right, so for those of you who are regulars and you already know what the deal is here and you already have your journal for Oils and Angels, you can go ahead and find your timestamp below. For whichever pile, 1, 2, or 3, that you want to tune into today. All right, for those of you who are a little bit newer here, let me go over a couple of basics. So first of all, I'm going to draw tarot and aromatherapy cards or pick oils. Actually, I've already picked the oils for today. And then we will be writing these down on the journal. You'll get a chance to get your insights. And then I will be writing you a daily ritual that includes the oils and the self-hypnotic statement to use with them, okay? Like I said before, you have 3 piles to choose from, so just start noticing if you're hearing one of the numbers go off in your head, if you're just seeing that number, just whatever one feels instinctively right to you. All right, let's talk about oils for a second. So, most people know that essential oils and herbs they have physical properties, right? Ways that they affect the body physically. But a lot of people don't necessarily realize that in addition to smelling good, and by the way, some of them smell great and some of them might not smell great to you, and that's okay. Either way, when you inhale them, you are breathing them in, getting them into the lymphatic system, the limbic system in the brain. Sorry, I'm cracking myself up here for a second. Okay, in the limbic system in the brain, and that is the area of the brain that is described as storing memory, emotion, habit, beliefs. So this really, from a hypnotist point of view, is really your subconscious mind. So perfect that we can get a near instantaneous natural biochemical response to that part of the brain and really your entire system, because that's also triggering little biochemicals throughout your entire body as well. Okay, so what else do I need to tell you all? Okay, so some of you all already have oils, and that is great. I have to tell you that we are talking about therapeutic grade oils here, and so we can't just go buying our oils at the grocery store or wherever. I'll just leave it at that. And really, if you buy them online, they should be shipping directly from the manufacturer, because there's so much fraud out there. And honestly, just even the middleman market is just filled with fraud. So you really want to use oils that are highly tested, not just basic tested, highly tested. And for that reason, I'm only using doTERRA oils. So if you do not already have oils and you want to join my VIP club, you can do that for free by getting your oils through me, and that link is in the description as well. All right, so speaking of oils, I will be picking from a basic set of oils, and for those of you who have a more extensive collection, a broader group as well. So I have my oils into 2 pools there so that everybody has a chance to get to use oils in their daily ritual. All right, let's see, what else have I missed telling you? I think that's everything. All right, so if you haven't chosen your number already, just take a moment right now. 1, 2, or 3. We have 3 piles today. If you feel drawn to more than one, that is okay as well. And go ahead and get your journal. And you want to write write the date, and then give me insight on. Okay, so for today's reading, we are going to be looking at family patterns that you are ready to break or that need to be broken. Sometimes people call these ancestral patterns as well. All right, so now it's time for you to pick your number 1, 2, or 3. All right, shining lights who chose pile number 1. Let's get to it. As I said, I have already chosen your oils for you. I did do this intuitively. I did it by going to a book. It's called bibliomancy, in case you didn't know that particular word for that intuitive process. I have also already cleared the air here with tea tree, also known as melaleuca, which is very protective. And I also started off with frankincense that helps me tune in to my higher power, to my angels. It is very protective as well. Okay, so what family patterns? Shining lights who chose pile number 1. What family patterns need to be broken? All right, let's see what we have here. All right, the 9 of Cups, the 7 of Cups, and the 3 of Swords. Okay, interesting. So what I'm getting from this is the 9 of Cups. Maybe you thought you had everything that you ever wanted, and then you came to realize that it was deception, that you were deceived, that things were not as they appeared, and that caused you real heartbreak, real sorrow to find out about that. It hasn't told us which pattern it is yet, though, has it? All right, let's see what messages your angels have for you. It is safe for you to be powerful. You know how to be powerful. I'm gonna have to break out my glasses. It's very, very light type. You know how to be powerful in a loving way that benefits yourself as well as others. So that would be telling us that probably in your family, power wasn't taught to you in a way that is loving to others. And so that can lead for us to either adopt those same patterns. It can also lead us to not own power because, say for example, if power was used in an angry or a destructive way in your family, a manipulating, a controlling way, any of those ways, then you may either have adapted that pattern subconsciously, whether you wanted to or not, or you may have rejected that pattern. So either or both of those might be going on. All right, let's see. This is messages from the fairies. Walk away. Leave the unhealthy situation and enjoy the new doors that open as a result. Okay. So I'll talk about that a little bit more in a moment, but it may mean for you literally disconnecting. You know, sometimes we need to do that. It could have to do with people in your family, but not necessarily. It could be the way that the family pattern is playing out for you in a more current situation. Could be romantic, could be friendships, could be work. And sometimes it means a complete severing of the tie, but not always. Sometimes we can find ways to set other limits and to withdraw without making a really extreme severing. All right, these are the Starseed Oracles. I had to pull for something there. What are your garden? Nourishment, body care, tenderness, and rest. And this person looks like they're in the most beautiful, what would you call that? Pool of water in a natural setting. I'm feeling there's something else here too. Another water card. Whale and Orca Elders. Share your song, the frequency of sound, deep diving. All right, now let's talk about the oils that you got here as well. So, by the way, just catching you up on the journal here. Your oracle cards are all the cards that we just came out with here. If you need to pause or rewind a little bit to get some of those down, and it honestly, like, it's not important that you get down every single card. If you're used to reading these types of cards, you may want that, and that's great. But overall, you just want to be getting the interpretation, okay? And then the oils for you are deep blue out of the beginner sets, and turmeric, depending on how you say this, if you have a more extensive collection. All right, so let's talk about what those oils mean for a moment. All right, so deep blue is the oil for surrendering pain. So emotional pain, what it's talking about is an over-identification with pain and then resisting the underlying emotions. So what does that mean? That can mean like you feel let down, betrayed by what happened in the family pattern, and you've gotten maybe identified with that victim role. Like, well, in my family, this happened, or in my childhood, this happened. Just kind of holding on to that as if it's defining you. And then not actually dealing with the pain that comes from that. And we have to actually deal with it and process it if we're going to move on from it. Otherwise, we just keep reacting to it over and over in all of our life situations. All right, now turmeric is it's the oil of restoration, and it helps if you feel paralyzed by fear. So it also helps restore a belief in good in other people. So obviously, if you've been hurt and wounded in your past, I'm just getting a thought as well that I know I need to pass along to you, that this may or may not have happened directly to you in your family. This could have happened further up the ancestral chain. You may or may not even be aware of it. But, when there's trauma, it gets passed, the effects of that can be passed down through generations. And sometimes people don't even know what it was that happened. And yet the cycle, the pattern is still there. The great thing is that we can break family patterns. And this is a really, really important time in human history for breaking family patterns. We have so many more tools. We have so much more awareness. That's what this is all about, okay? All right, so let's talk about what you should do here with this. So on the journal, the insights area is just for you to put your personal reflections here, what you got out of this. Maybe some of this resonated with you, but not all of it, and that's absolutely fine. This is a general reading. You may have also thought like, I hear Stephanie saying this about it, but I know for me it's similar, but it's not exactly that. That's perfect. That's perfect. Put that down there. Okay, so let me just take one more look at the cards here, because the tarot cards have really, really defined where the pain is. And this card, Athena here, about safe for you to be powerful, speaks to the family dynamic as well. The need for you to really set a limit, walk away from something unhealthy so that a new door can open. We haven't gotten too much into these Starseed Oracle cards yet. Water your garden, take care of yourself, really like walk away so that you can do this internal healing. And the Whale and the Orca Elders, this is a really, really cool card. It's about how you have a really, really unique voice, and that it's important for you to share that. It's important for you to speak up in a way. All right, so let's talk about what we can do with these oils. Let's come up with your self-hypnotic statement first, and then I'll give you some instructions for what you're going to be doing with these. All right, I'm thinking about this walking away aspect, about the need for you to be powerful in a strong and loving way, to use your voice to nourish yourself. Okay, so let's play around with this a little bit. It is right for me to nourish myself, to use my voice, to learn to use my power lovingly. Okay, so you might find that one or all of these resonates with you. That's absolutely fine. If you use the whole thing, it might feel like a mouthful, and that's okay. Just get the parts that really resonate for you. You're going to know. All right, so here it is. Get your pen ready. It is right for me to nourish myself, to use my voice, to learn to use my power lovingly. Sorry, I stumbled on that. It is right for me to nourish myself, to use my voice, to learn to use my power lovingly. Okay, now you're going to be saying this to yourself at least twice a day as you are using one or both of these oils. If you have them both, you can use them both. If you have just deep blue, that's fine as well. All right, so deep blue is a topical oil. So put it in your hand and put it anywhere that you feel discomfort. Over the heart is a great place too, because we are healing this old heartbreak, okay? Again, whether you know where it came from in your family or not, that's what we're healing. So you can put that, just rub it right over your heart area. Again, anywhere that you feel pain as well, inhaling, diffusing is great for this oil also. All right, turmeric. Turmeric tastes a bit spicy, smells a bit spicy as well. This is one of the ones with the doTERRA that you can use internally, and that works emotionally as well. So you might want to put this in an empty veggie cap, just a drop, and take it once or twice a day. You definitely can inhale it, diffuse it, and you can use it topically as well. If either of these, if any oils are ever a little bit too tingly, just dilute it in some coconut oil. My coconut oil over here. There we go. And you can do it right in your hand, or you can put it into a separate bottle to do it also. Okay, I hope you all have amazing progress with that. I hope that spoke to you, and I would love to hear what you thought about it. And if you're not subscribed, please do that and give me a like and let me know how it goes. All right, thank you. See you next week. All right, hello shining lights who chose pile number 2. I am just clearing the space here, making room for you and what your messages are. Okay, now go ahead and grab your journal. As I said before, today we are getting insights on family patterns that are ready to be broken, need to be broken. All right, so let's pull some tarot cards first and see what this might be about. Feeling burdened, time for a new life cycle, and time to move away from the pain. All right, we'll come back to that in a moment. I am feeling Starseed Oracle right now. All right, shining lights who chose pile number 2. Family patterns that need to be released. You saw me shuffle them. I just pulled one of the cards that we had in pile number 1 as well. New Earth. Okay, so we have Whale and Orca Elders and New Earth. I'll come back to those in some detail in a moment. Let's see, messages from your angels. Shining lights who chose pile number 2. What do you need to know about releasing family patterns? All right, Caressa. You're at the end of a cycle in your life. Call upon your angels to comfort you and to guide you on your next steps. Happiness awaits you now. That ties in perfectly with one of the cards we got in the tarot. Like I said, I'll come back to that in a moment. Let's go through these and then we'll see whether or not we need another card. Okay, so let's start with the tarot cards. So we have the 10 of Wands. Again, this is that feeling of burden, like, oh my God, it's just too much. I just can't carry these sticks around anymore, right? Like just overwhelmed, just tired, exhausted, burned out, burdened. Then we have the Death card. Now, typically the Death card in tarot is not a literal death, but you know, when we're looking at family patterns that need to be broken, it makes me wonder if there isn't a death in the past that maybe was untimely, maybe that there was foul play involved or something like that, and that has affected your family tree. It could also mean, if it's not a literal death, then what it means is it's simply the life cycle, right? It's winter time. It's when all the plants die and they get reabsorbed into the soil, which makes the fertile soil for the spring, right? So that's the card of the one door closing so another one can open. And then we have the Six of Swords. So this is a feeling of leaving behind the pain, the fears, the anguish of the past. You are moving to better shores, but you've made the decision to move on, but you're not feeling the relief yet. All right, I'm going to grab the book on these Starseed cards because they are a bit more in depth and I haven't been working with them as long, although I really enjoy them. Okay, so we have Whale and Orca Elders. All right, this is about the truth of who you really are. And it also says sharing your song, the frequency of the sound, and deep diving. So that means going deep into the emotions, deep in the past, and finding your truth to peel back the layers of suffering and pain to reveal to others your soul's true song, right? So it's about doing that deep work so that you can find your true song. All right, New Earth. New Earth, it's happening. Keep holding the vision. All right, New Earth. Don't give up now. You're closer than you think. I love that. That's a little bit like this card from Messages of the Angels too. All right, it is hard to hold the frequency of a new age when it feels as if so much is crumbling and so many are losing faith. So, I think this can be like on a general humanity level, or if we want to look more specifically just at you and your family patterns, it's that sense that everything is falling apart and falling away and everything's changing and the ground is shifting. But the guidance here is that just keep the vision, keep the faith, keep your eye on the ball. You're guided, you're supported, you're protected, and the new thing is emerging. And it's the right thing. All right, and then coming back again to Caressa, this was out of Messages from Your Angels. You are at the end of a cycle in your life. Call upon your angels to comfort and to guide you on your next step. Happiness awaits you now. All right, so let's look at the oils. Then we're going to summarize everything and come up with a ritual for you to use all week. So all of that stuff goes in the Oracle cards section of the journal, by the way. So your oils are tea tree, also known as melaleuca. And depending on when you got your doTERRA bottle, it might say melaleuca and it might say tea tree on it because they did change the label to use the word tea tree. All right, and for those of you who have a more extensive collection, we have Melissa. All right, so let's talk about what these oils are for. You already saw me using melaleuca, tea tree, to protect the energetic space, to clear the space here. So that's exactly what this oil is for emotionally and energetically. So it helps set boundaries. It helps you if you have been allowing other people to take advantage of you, which really at its core is a self-betrayal. So that may be speaking to what the family pattern is here as well. It could be one of taking on too much. That would be a way that we don't keep our own boundaries. It's also possible that that overwhelm is just circumstances that have been going on and just dealing with the old stuff in the family. Okay, anyway, that is tea tree. Let's talk about Melissa for a second. Melissa is an oil of light. This is a very, very high vibrational oil. And it awakens the soul to truth, spiritual guidance, to release old despair. Wow, that makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Yeah. So especially if you are just feeling overcome by grief, by sadness, by despair of what the situation is, this is a very, very lifting oil for that. It honestly has a very unusual smell. I don't usually smell it and be like, oh, that's just beautiful. Like, it's not jasmine, okay? Or whatever your favorite oil is. But it is very, very uplifting. I'm going to give one more option on this one for those of you who have an extensive collection but maybe don't have Melissa. Melissa is in Elevation, and so in a pinch I would substitute Elevation for this. Okay, so let's work up your self-hypnotic statement. By the way, your insights are your insights. Take what fit out of this, you know, when you were like, oh, and she said that, that meant this thing going on in my life. All right, so take a few moments for that. And I'm going to work up a self-hypnotic statement. It's okay to feel the grief, but my new world is opening to me. It's okay to feel grief, but my new world is opening to me. So you might want to substitute that with, it's okay to feel sad, it's okay to feel pain, it's okay to grieve, but my new world is opening to me. My new world is opening to me. Yeah. It's okay to feel grief, sadness, pain, but my new world is opening to me. All right, so you're going to be saying that to yourself while you're using these oils. So let's talk about how you would use these. Tea tree, definitely you can use it topically. It's pretty easy on the skin. If you need to dilute, you can with coconut oil or something else, a nice pure lotion. So some of you are going to love the way this smells and some of you are not, like all oils, but I find that very often for this one. People love it, or people are like, that smells medicinal and I don't like it. If you don't love the smell of it, use it on the soles of your feet. This is a great, great oil for keeping your feet healthy anyway. So definitely that would be something that you could do twice a day. You could simply inhale it out of the bottle. If you have any areas on your skin that just need some support, that is another great place to use the tea tree or the melaleuca as well. So and you just say you had something on your hand that needed some support, or your face or whatever, you could just use it right there. The important thing is that you're using this at least twice a day while saying to yourself the statement that we just created. All right, if you are using Melissa, you can put this on the roof of your mouth. It's a real mood lifter that way. Doesn't taste great, but it's kind of worth it, okay? You can also inhale it. This is another great one on the back of the neck, like right here near your spine, because it's a really, really good brain oil. And if you love the way it smells, you can use it on your pulse points as well. All right, I think everything that I just said about that would be true for elevation as well, if you decide to use that one. Okay, I hope that was meaningful to you. I hope that it resonated with you. I would love to hear your comments below, what you thought about it. If you haven't already subscribed, please do, and hit the little notification bell so you get notified when the video comes out next week. And what else? If you give me a like, I would really appreciate that. It actually really helps a lot. Okay, all right, Shining Lights who chose pile number 2. I will see you next week. Goodbye. All right, Shining Lights who chose pile number 3. Welcome, welcome. All right, I am just clearing the space here with a little bit of tea tree, also known as melaleuca. You know what? How about a little bit more frankincense? I can never get enough frankincense. They're in the third eye as well. Okay, so grab your journal. So as I said before, we are working on issues of family patterns. So you could be putting in, give me insight on what family patterns are ready to be released or changed or transformed, okay? All right, so let's dive into oracle cards. All right, so let's start with tarot. So for Shining Lights who chose pile number 3, what do you all need to know about releasing a family pattern or family patterns? Ancestral patterns. Those emotional things that seem to come right through our very DNA. Pile number 3. What are you ready to release? What is it time for you to release? What your angels want to help you release? Having to do with money. Oh, the material world, your center of power. Oh, this is a really, really cool spread so far. I'm loving this. All right, before I go into too much depth, let's pull a few more cards. This is messages from your angels. All right, Desiree. No, conditions aren't favorable right now. Wait or look at other options or ask the angels to help, guide, and comfort you. Interesting. I'll pull one more out of this deck, I think. I have a sense that might not be relevant to everybody who chose pile number 3. So if you feel like you have a big decision right now and you're trying to decide to go forward or not, that was your answer. Again, this is just guidance, okay? I'm not here to tell you how to run your life. Let's be really clear. YouTube always has a say for entertainment purposes only. The reason for that is nobody can tell you how to run your life, okay? We're all here to gain insights, wisdom, have access to higher sources, but you have to learn to trust your gut as well. Okay, what other card do we need here? Caution is warranted. Look deeper into the situation before proceeding further. That's a confirmation. Okay, let's see. What else? What else? Let's look at the Starseed deck. Starseed Oracle. What else? Does pile number 3. Shining lights. Who chose pile number 3? Need to know. Breaking these family patterns, having a center of power, what's possible in the world, money patterns, clinging, holding on. All right. Starkeeper, cosmic ancestor. Seed the light by staying grounded. We're going to have to grab the book for that one. So you may have heard me say before, the Starseed Oracle deck, there's just a lot of depth in these. And I haven't been using them as long. So I do often refer to the book here. Starkeeper. You're an ancient keeper of the stars, here to anchor and seed your light in your unique way. You've likely been incarnating on Earth for some time, dedicated to an era of awakening and bringing about a long-awaited shift in the planet's evolution. We are at a tipping point right now. The survival of Earth and all of its species is coming to a head. The more grounded you remain, the more helpful you'll be. The more you tend the flames of your own heart, the more love you'll anchor onto this planet. The wisdom of the stars is imprinted in your soul. The more soul fragments you call home, the more this wisdom is seated here. You may be called to be in different places in the world to anchor this light. Perhaps by taking a trip or living in a certain location, you may also find yourself experiencing awakening symptoms. The more grounded you remain, the more stable Earth's energy will become and the less reactive humanity will be. You're here for a double mission to grow as an individual and as part of the larger collective that's bringing a shift in frequency. Trust that you can be in the world but not of it and lead a truly glorious life. An activation message there that we may use when we're writing a self-hypnotic statement. Okay, let's see. I think we might also need a message from the fairies. Speaking of being in the earth but not of it. All right. Just one more bit of clarification, please. A significant birthday holds the answer to your question. Seems to get more and more puzzling here. I'm hoping that this is becoming crystal clear to those of you who chose pile number 3. because I admit it's not crystal clear to me. I'm going to pull another card. And holiday. The answer that you're looking for can be found during a vacation, retreat, or holiday getaway. You know, that's very similar to what the Starseed card said about travel. All right, well, let's go with it because, you know, the cards are what the cards are, and the divine wisdom is there. So let me not second guess the wisdom. All right, so let's review here. Oh, we haven't talked about the oils yet either. Okay, so for you, I chose intuitively clove oil and peace oil for those of you who have a more extensive collection. Wow, as I'm saying that, clove is not in the starter kits. All right, On Guard. On Guard is what you would use if you have a starter kit. It has clove in it, and there are many similarities with it. All right, so clove is about boundaries. So it helps us maintain boundaries. It helps us let go of a victim mentality. You know, victim mentality is something that most of us would say that we don't identify with, right? We make strong choices in our lives. We feel like we're problem solvers, but often there can be a particular way that we are holding on to a victim mentality. So this oil speaks about self-betrayal, codependency, maybe a history of weakened boundaries, which can come due to being mistreated, by being compromised in some way, or by having a caretaker or a partner or someone like that who's intrusive to you. Okay, all those things can weaken your boundaries and can give you this sense that you don't have control, and it can also cause you to be very defensive. It can also sometimes just cause you to feel like there's nothing you can do, really feel powerless in the situation in a real learned and feels instinctive way, but it's actually learned. All right, so let's talk about peace for a moment as well, and then we're going to talk about usage and come up with a self-hypnotic statement. All right, so peace. Peace is to help when we are manufacturing a sense of peace. When we are creating an environment, we're trying to control an environment so that we can feel peace. And in a sense, we're kind of faking peace, or we're trying to create it because we don't feel it inside of ourselves. So this oil helps us reach out to the divine for the healing that needs to happen, the thing that's really underneath that need to control the environment, okay? All right, so let's talk about what we're going to be saying to ourselves, and then we will come back to exactly how we're going to use these oils. All right, so you know what, let me come back to these tarot cards. I want to explain these a little bit more about why I said what I said about them. Okay, Four of Pentacles was the first one. As you can see, this man looks very happy with the wealth that he is embracing. He is a little too bound to it. And in fact, he is working really hard to hold it down. He has his feet on top of it. It's sitting on top of his head. He's holding it. So this probably has to do with a pattern of wealth, having wealth, holding on to wealth, not having wealth in your family. Then you have the World. So the World is a super powerful card. So maybe in your family, people were able to use money and wealth to make their way in the world, to open all kinds of opportunities for themselves. And from that, the Chariot, they felt a real sense of self-determination and power and the ability to move at their own will. So, I mean, those are many, many great patterns to have in your life. The caution here, though, is this sense of clinging on to the money, to making the wealth more important than the experience of the wealth and the opportunity that it creates. All right, so flowing with that, back down here into the messages from your angels card, we had two caution cards. One was Desiree, no conditions are not favorable right now, look at other options, ask your angels for help and support. And the other one, Bridget, caution is warranted, look deeper into the situation before proceeding further. So possibly there is even a situation involved here about an opportunity with money. So you're being cautioned. All right, and we had again here this, well, let's see, the Star Keeper had to do with you bringing light to the planet and healing yourself, as well as bringing that healing to the bigger collective of the human experience and staying grounded. There was a mention of travel here, that you may be traveling to other places to bring that healing there as well. And of course, we had the holiday, vacation, retreat, getaway card here as well. And then birthday. So what could this mean? Somebody whose birthday is coming up is involved here. Maybe you will be taking a trip on your birthday, or someone else who's having a birthday, or their birthday is important to you, has to do with this situation. All right, so our advice here is to look deeper before moving, before acting, I'm going to say, and to ask for help, divine help, to fulfill our purpose. So your purpose. I'm going to put this in first person, so my purpose. All right, so let's start with it's right to, you may also put it's time to. It's right to look deeper before acting. It's right to look deeper before acting. I request divine help to fulfill my purpose. I request divine help to fulfill my purpose. All right, you can use one of those, both of those. You can tweak them a little bit. As I said, this is a general reading, so there should be a piece of this that is resonating with you. Hopefully there's a piece that resonates. It usually happens that way. Sometimes we haven't yet discovered what it is for us. If you feel that sense, go ahead and give it a try with the oils and the self-hypnotic statement and see what emerges for you. All right, let me read it again so you can get it down. It's right to look deeper before acting. Alternatively, it's time to look deeper before acting. I request divine help to fulfill my purpose. You could also put that, angels, God, help me fulfill my purpose. Okay? All right, so using these oils, if you are using On Guard or Clove, inhale, diffuse. Yeah, inhale or diffuse. Let's go with that one. And then peace is actually going to be exactly the same thing. Peace is great topically as well. You can put it on your pulse points. You can put it over your heart. Super, super calming and soothing. All right, so at least twice a day. More is fine as well. All right. Shining Lights, you chose pile number 3. I hope that was helpful to you. I hope it gave you insight. I hope it helped you feel that you were ready to get the insight that you need and ready to get the insight to fulfill your purpose and to figure out what other information needs to be gathered for a decision for you. Okay, I would love to hear your comments below. If you're not subscribed already, go ahead and do that and hit the notification bell so you find out when the next video comes out next week. And if you would give a like, that really helps as well. All right, thank you, Shining Lights. See you next week.